Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Adam, and welcome to this pre-sales workshop. You know, if you've been in pre-sales for any amount of time, a day or a decade, there's few more frustrating things than when your demo goes sideways, your presentation goes off plan. Whether it's just a little disturbance here or there, or maybe a big distraction that takes you totally off course, interruptions are a real risk to derailing your demos, which means it can be harder to show the value that your product or service is bringing to your customers and that you can solve their problems. So to help create the right kind of structure for your demos and to keep your audience on track, you can use one of the simplest yet most effective tools in your pre-sales toolkit, the demonstration agenda, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's workshop. Today, we'll discuss what is a demo agenda and why it's important. I'll show you some examples of both good and bad demo agendas, and then I'll live demo a demo agenda builder tool that you can download and use in your pre-sales practice today. So let's go ahead and dive in. So what is a demo agenda and why is it so important? Well, a demo agenda is going to be an agenda that's specific for a product demonstration. It's what the customer is going to see before you jump into the platform, and it serves as a guide for the things that you're going to show them. Now, it's important for a number of really key critical reasons. It's important because it tells the customer where they're going to go and when they're going to get there. The items that you cover are also in the agenda are also useful because it helps to prepare the customer and gets them thinking about, well, didn't I have a question about that? Or, you know what, I really want to dig in deep on that particular topic. It incites feedback from the customer, and that can be very, very useful in your product demos. Most importantly, it's going to give you the opportunity to validate and summarize that you've covered the right things at the beginning and the end of your product demonstration. Demo agendas are useful at the beginning, but also can be used to validate those items when you're done with your demonstration agenda or when you're done with your demo. Now, what a demo agenda is not, is it's not a meeting agenda. It's actually part of the meeting, but it's not the actual meeting agenda, nor is it a novel. You don't need to script out everything you're going to show in longhand or long prose. I'll have an example of that in just a second. It's also, though it feels like it could be a demo plan, and it sometimes is substituted for proper demo planning, a demo agenda is not a demo plan. It's not a demo strategy. It comes from those planning and strategy sessions with your selling team. So don't use your demo agenda as a substitute. I'd like to jump in now and show you a couple of examples of some good agendas as well as some bad agendas. Let's dive into that next. All right, let's quickly run through a few examples of some bad and some good agendas. The first one is the novelist. The novelist agenda is excruciatingly detailed, and it certainly tells us where we're going, but I'm not sure when we're going to get there. And man, I'm going to have a hard time really giving feedback because I'm spending most of my time reading this. So I'm not really able to validate at the beginning that this is what I want to see because it's so detailed, nor at the end, it doesn't give me a very good summary of what I have seen. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have the minimalist. Now, of course, hey, I've used much larger font and I can see what I'm going to cover and I can see what's in the demonstration, and it's probably going to happen a lot faster than the previous example. But again, the feedback piece is really hard to get to here because I don't necessarily see a benefit. And I'm not sure, I think this is going to cover what I want to see, but I'll have to wait till the end to really summarize if it actually did. So I'm missing some level of validation here. Now, the agenda style that I like to use is one that I think of as more outcome benefit driven. So the agenda items themselves are outcomes I'm looking to achieve or demonstrate, either a set of capabilities or a feature, and then the benefit ties back to why that's important to the customer. So this not only tells me where I'm going to go and when I'm going to get there, but it clearly states, here's what we're going to show you, here's why this is important, and I can validate that at the beginning and summarize at the end before I even dive into the platform. Gives me a great chance to even add or subtract some things with customer feedback right away. So I want to jump into the whiteboard now and then give you a quick demonstration of the Agenda Builder tool. Let's head over to the whiteboard. All right, let's whiteboard this out. When I build out my agendas, I like to structure the process using a few key areas to help me understand the priority and think about whether or not an item is suitable for an agenda and how I want to describe it as part of my agenda. So, like many things, we'll start with a little matrix here, and each row is going to be a topic on your agenda. Now, the first item is, what's the priority? Now, I don't know that quite yet, but I'll come back to that later because it's very important for me to be able to prioritize what order I want to show these items in my agenda. Now, the second column here is going to be the primary topic or the outcome. So I think about this from an outcome benefit driven basis, and the topic or the outcome is what I'm going to show. It may not necessarily be a capability or a feature name, but it's something that I want to show. So like I happen to be in marketing software, so one of the items on the agenda might be build an advertising campaign. And so that will allow me to not only sort of encompass all of the features I want to show, but it'll be very, very clear that that's the outcome of that item of the agenda. Now, a close second here is going to be, what is the benefit? So the benefit is that sub bullet, that subtopic that really rounds out the why behind why we're going to show you what we're going to show you. So if my topic is build an advertising campaign, the benefit would be some benefit that speaks to why that's important. Maybe I, tie it to an economic benefit or an operational benefit, but it really depends on your customer. Now, the next one that I like here is, what does this mean in terms of decision criteria or executive priority? Now, I should know this, or I should have an idea of this as I'm building out my agenda anyway. But what this decision criteria really allows me to do, it forces me to validate that, in fact, this criteria of the purchasing or buying decision, or this priority that is very important to the business, is going to be supported by what it is that I'm going to show. Now, I'm not going to show this to the customer, but this is more of an internal tool that I'll use, an internal attribute of each agenda item that I'll use to determine, hey, is this really something I want to show? The last one, time. Now, time is really interesting because time, you can look at it in two ways. You can look at how long do I need versus how long do I have? And as we all know, sometimes we don't have as much time as we want to have or want to take in terms of covering off on all of the agenda items. So I'll use time somewhere in the middle of how long do I need versus how long do I take. And that's also then going to be an input into how time relates to prioritization. And I want to make sure that I am prioritizing and covering the things that are going to be the most important. So what does this actually look like in terms of the tool? Let's jump over and see that right now. In terms of the demo tool, you can download this. The link is in the description below, but I've laid out a few examples here for you. The order or priority, the topic, the subtopic, the question, hey, does this align with the decision criteria or the executive priority, as well as the time. Now you can see I've hovered over a few comments there, so you can read the comments and that gives you a little more insight into what should go into each one of these boxes. Now you'll also notice that there are two extra columns here. Now I put these here because sometimes this can be useful as a reminder. Sometimes though, this may be strictly part of your demo strategy or demo path planning session. So these are totally optional, but there are cases, particularly if I'm dealing with a large crowd, I may just want to stick this in my agenda item. So I might want to highlight, hey, this is really important to John and Ashley or certain members of the audience on the demo. And maybe there's a customer story that I just want to highlight here so it's top of mind. Again, these are optional. These are also items that should be part of your demo path planning session, but I included them here just as an example of what else you might want to use for this tool. All right, that's all the time we have for today's workshop. So like and subscribe, smash the buttons down below if you're watching this online or listening to it, whatever platform you use. If you download the tool, please drop me a DM on LinkedIn, leave a comment below. Just let me know how it's going. Let me know if it's working for you. Would love to see what changes or additions, edits you've made to make it better for everybody. So thanks again for spending some time with me today, and we'll see you again next time right here in the workshop.